What's up, guys? All right, so we are gonna get into part 2 of the questions that y'all sent me. And these, I thought the first batch were deep, but these are super deep, but I'm gonna answer them because I definitely believe in being authentic, being myself, being real, and I want everyone to do the same thing and use your stories because that, in my opinion, is what connects us. So, at the risk of maybe getting a little vulnerable, I'm gonna answer these questions. And if you have others, please let me know and I'll make a third video, who knows? We're gonna start off easy. So this one comes from Dave on YouTube, and he said, do you drink? And if you do, what is your favorite drink and what is your favorite food? I do drink. I don't really like liquor. I mean, occasionally I'll do like a margarita or something, but I love beer and wine. I feel like an amazing way to get some perspective on a location that you're at is to go to a local pub or go to a brewery or a winery. So I do like a good beer with my burger and wine. So favorite food, well, favorite drink, let's see. Mirasol Pinot Noir is my favorite wine. And beer, I haven't really met many beers I don't like. Probably Blue Moon. Let's see, food, my dad's enchiladas. So he has like this secret recipe. It's not really secret, but this like special way of doing enchiladas. It's really, really good. So that's definitely my favorite food. And maybe burgers. I do love the search for a good burger. All right, so now we're getting into it. Dave, I love that you went from one extreme to the other. Like, what's your favorite food to this question? So this is from Dave on YouTube as well. Are you Christian? Do you read the Bible? And do you go to church? I am Christian. I grew up Catholic, so I feel like I've always been Christian. Definitely got away from the church. To me, like, nature was my church for a long time. And I searched around for a while. And then I found the church that I go to now, which I really, really love. But I definitely have always been kind of the like sneak in late, leave early, back row, don't really talk to anybody kind of person. Within the last 3 years, all of that kind of shifted. I definitely had some big moments in my life, and now I'm kind of like all in on this Jesus thing. It's really funny, like it's easier for me to talk about like relationships than it is to talk about faith. But it is really important to me to talk about because it's definitely a big part of my life now. So in terms of do you read the Bible, I am really, really bad at that. It's funny, I always joke, I'm like, I feel like I have a very, very strong faith. I feel like I have a very good relationship with God. But in terms of like the religion stuff, it's very, very new to me. So the cool thing about this church actually is I have this woman who I call my church mom, and she's like, write down your questions, we'll grab coffee and I'll talk you through it and talk to you about it and stuff. So she's given me like study Bibles, and I do like my Jesus Calling every morning. So I'm definitely learning about it and getting into it. But in terms of like religion and the Bible, I'm very, very new. And do you go to church? Yes. I go to church, and when I can, I like to sing in church. And I've really gotten into praise music. That's been like a huge thing for me because I'm a music person. That's my big connection. My most spiritual moment is the next question, which kind of goes hand in hand. Oh man, we're getting deep. So a few years ago, when things were particularly bad in my marriage, in my home life, you know, I did my normal, I'm at church, back row. And, you know, afterward they always say like, if you need some extra prayer, come to the front. And I found myself going to the front. Very weird for me. So they like prayed over me, and then on the way home, it was the most bizarre thing. Like I started just crying, and then I started shaking, and I got goosebumps, and everything went white, and I had to pull over because I'm driving and I can't see. And this like, it's so bizarre to say, but like this like rush of calmness came over me. And all of the like anger and rage that I was like feeling at the time went away, and literally has not been back. I mean, I've gotten angry and stuff, but like that hopeless, lost feeling went away. And that was kind of my first experience with God in that sense. And then throughout the next like few months, as things got crazy and my whole life changed and everything like that, I kept kind of getting that feeling, not quite that extreme, but I would get that feeling and like know for a fact that that's not me, that's not here, that's a higher being that's God, you know. And so I've really kind of tapped into that. And when I feel that, I try to, you know, go with it and let it happen. So that was definitely my most spiritual moment. We're getting deep. Let's see. Oh, and here's kind of a cute one. So my first time ever feeling a little bit of that, I was like 8 and I was taking keyboard and I didn't want to be taking keyboard anymore. And my mom was like, you have to stick it out. You're taking these piano lessons. And then she left the room, and I remember like sitting at the window being like, God, if you exist, I don't want to take keyboard anymore. And like not even 30 seconds later, I get this knock on my door. My mom's like, you don't have to take keyboard anymore. And she left, and I was like, oh my gosh, what? So that was kind of like my first little kid experience. Anyway, getting into it now. Let's see. Number 4. This is from Tracy on Facebook. What is wrong with you, Millie? Is there something that blows your mind every time you think about it? I mean, definitely the faith thing. That just keeps blowing my mind. Feeling this like ultimate protection through things. Blows my mind. Nature, whenever I mean, I've done this hike probably 20 times, and every time I come out here, I'm like, oh my gosh, this place is amazing. So that definitely blows my mind. There's a lot of stuff. I feel like if things aren't blowing your mind, you need to switch it up, because I love to be in awe of life in the world. Probably the biggest thing that blows my mind is just where I'm at in life. I would not have called this. I couldn't have planned on it. I just, in no scenario growing up would I have ever pictured my life the way it is now. And I think that that's amazing, because I'm very happy that it turned out completely unexpected. This is from Lindsay on Facebook. Where's the scariest place that I've ever been? Probably Zion, doing Angel's Landing. Also because that was like my first big challenge of, am I gonna do this? Am I really jumping in and doing this thing that I'm terrified of? And like I said before, you know, I dreamt for weeks of falling off of Angel's Landing. So by the time I got there, I was like a complete mess. Definitely between that and rafting the Kern River. If you guys watch that episode, I'm like crying through most of it, because I felt very out of control for a lot of it, which is scary about rafting, but I loved it. Much more than the heights. I actually really, really enjoyed the rafting. So those are probably the scariest places I've ever been. And then there's like scary stuff like walking around Skid Row accidentally. That's a different kind of scary. This one comes from Twitter. What celebrity do you want to go on an adventure with? Oh man, so many. I think since I started watching the show Running Wild, I've got to go Bear Grylls. Because not only does like he know his stuff about the wilderness, but he just seems to have this way to like tap into people, to get them to open up and get to a deeper level. And like, I mean, that's the goal for me too. But I think it's just really cool, and he's been through some stuff and he's got some good perspective. So it's funny because he's not like my like host idol or anything like that. But to go on an adventure with, yes, Bear Grylls. Let's do it. And the final question, I feel like a good way to end this. This is from Hendrix as well. Where do you see your life and your career in 2 years? You know what's really funny is putting out these questions, it really made me have to kind of go back and look at some of this stuff. I was like, oh my gosh, where do I see myself in 2 years? Definitely, I think the big goal would be to be doing the show full time, in whatever way that means, whether it's on TV, online, I don't know, but doing the show full time. Ideally, I would love it to be online where I can continue to run my own business and, you know, hire the people I want to hire and things like that. So yes, full time, no more restaurant, no more Instacart, all that stuff. That's the big career goal. And then life, gosh, I don't know. I feel like 2 months ago I was thinking of moving to Denver. So it's like, I have learned, the one thing I've probably learned more than anything is that life can change overnight and be completely different 6 months down the road. But I would definitely like to be in a relationship. I do want kids and things like that, so I would love to be in a committed relationship, possibly on my way to having a child. But I'm I'm open to whatever. I feel like every time I make a plan, it doesn't work out anyway, so but I'm much more clear on the career thing of where I want that to go. But 5 years, I would definitely say like relationship, kids, you know, career, at least full-time. Millie's eating some weird plants. I probably shouldn't allow that. So yeah, that's the second batch of questions. And again, I really appreciate you guys sending those to me and getting really deep. And if you want to know more, please let me know, ask me some more questions, and I will continue to answer them. And let me know your own stories, your own fears, all that stuff. I love hearing that kind of thing. And eventually I would love to get to a place where I could like interview more people and have more videos about other people's stories, because I'm only one person. I've only gone through what I've gone through, but I just think it's really incredible when people get real, and it kind of connects us on a human level. So anyway, I really appreciate it. Please hit subscribe. If you haven't watched the first video with the first questions, check that one out as well. But yeah, I'm excited to go on more adventures and let you guys in a little bit more on my life and where I've come and where I want to take this whole thing. So thanks.